Hey, honey, you want it, please? I feel like that too. Oh, good. Hello, hello. Welcome, my friends. It's me, KP. I'm here in my studio, the Moon and the Maker, home of ArtFoamies. And we're here for ArtFoamy Fun Friday. Oh my gosh, and we're joined by Seth Apter, who I have to find him now. I know he's here. Seth, are you here? I saw you. Now I can't find you. I have to unspotlight myself and find you. There you are. Welcome.
I'm here.
Yay. Thank you so much.
Hey, thank
I said,
you.
yay. I said, oh my gosh, I don't think I ever begged a man this much. Anyway, it was worth it, I have to say. So thanks for joining me for ArtFoamy Fun. I hope you're as excited as I am.
I think I may even be more,
Oh,
but I am thrilled to be here and welcome everybody. Thank you guys who are here live for popping in for the pop-up and those of you watching on recording too. Thank you, thank you, thank you. But we're gonna have fun, KP.
yeah, yes. I'm trying to turn the camera around. I'm not very adept at this yet. Okay. To show your beautiful collection. And I hate to ruin the surprise. I think the surprise might already be, spoiled because they've been on the site all day and people are already going there and shopping and enjoying, giving you lots of compliments. So I just want to say that we do have 12 images from Seth. Some are actually sets, so there's probably more actual images, 12 SKUs. And then we also did a freebie for this weekend only with a $50 or more purchase. So we'll go through them, of course, and let me also add a spotlight to this too, so you can see it a little better. There you go. So,
All right. Side by side.
yeah. So I don't know if you want me to go through them, or I'm not really sure if I should just show them all, or if you want to just talk a little bit about, of course, I want to, Seth and I have kind of known of each other for a while, but I don't think we've really ever chatted a lot. So I don't know a lot about you. Some of our customers said, "Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I don't know who's, I can't imagine no people that don't know you, but a few people said, I'm not familiar with Seth, so I'm so excited." So we want to hear more about you. I want to hear what you're up to. We've kind of like, I've been to as many stores like after you. So I've seen lots of your work, followed you, but again, this is our first time actually sort of, collabing or anything like that. So
Yeah, and all our conversations have really been, well, we played a little bit, but mostly business focused, getting things done and prepping and choosing and naming and rejecting and accepting.
not very many
So
rejections though, I have to say.
no, there weren't. We did really well. You did amazing with what you turned these into.
Oh,
So yeah, but I'm happy to chat about anything. Anybody who has questions, um, I can answer, and I'm happy. I see some of my peeps here, so thank you guys for coming.
yes.
There might be some people who are new to ArtFoamies. Again, hard to believe. There might be some people new to me. So it's great that we are all connecting and kind of mixing and matching. So yeah, who knows what we're going to talk about is what the bottom line is.
Yes. Well, okay. So first I have to just deviate because you had something so cool come out just not very long ago. I'm sorry, I don't know the exact date, but it was very recent. And that is your fabric collection. That is amazing.
Yeah.
So,
Thank you. Thank you.
oh my God, so many amazing things people have been making with, I've been seeing a lot of like, well, I call them makeys, but like,
Yeah.
gosh,
And
amazing stuff too, like crazy amazing quilts and bags and clothes and dolls. So, and I feel like this really is gonna just be so beautiful in conjunction with that, because I feel like it's made, well, it's all made by you, of course, but it like goes together so well. So talk about,
everything I design, sort of comes, it's sort of cliche to say it, but it sort of comes from the heart. It, if I am not going to like something, I'm not going to release it. So, a lot of drawings, a lot of designs never see the light of day because, they start out as good ideas and they don't end up that way. So people who know me well know that, whenever I'm showing or demoing my stuff, I'm like, oh my God, I love this so much. This is so cool. I love this. I love this. And in the beginning, I used to think, well, that's kind of weird to be like, stuck up and loving your own stuff. But then I realized, no, it's not. Like, why I wouldn't release something I didn't love. So it all comes out of like my artist voice, and it's almost always sort of grungy and abstract. On occasion, I do a few other things, but this is what you see. So for me, the great thing is that if you do invest in me, no matter what I'm releasing, it all really works together. So I'm
yeah.
glad you picked that up.
Yeah, well, and actually, I don't know if I'm not sure how this works, honestly. Can everybody see in the comments? Because Heather just posted, like, she in fact shared a picture with me like a couple days ago saying, look what just came, and showed me a bunch of your fabric that I was really upset that I didn't order any. But anyway,
You can still get it.
yeah, I know. I'm looking right now at pictures of it, and like this is like right next to it, and I'm going, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. But
Well,
anyway, so I hope everybody can see in the comment in the
yeah,
chat.
open up the comment.
So
If you haven't, click to the bottom or wherever, depending upon the device you are, to the more. It's usually in more, and then you can open up the chat box.
and
Um,
then
Brianna did ask a question. Is that your only fabric line so far?
yeah,
For asking that question. So I am more of a artist based in paper, and fabric is relatively new for me. But I work with Free Spirit Fabrics, and it's my first line came out this year. It was released, the way it worked is in January, they showed it online. I showed it online so that shops could pre-order it. And if you fell in love with it, you had to wait till August in order to see and get it if you were a consumer. So it's, been about 3 or 4 months, and it has been really exciting. All of it is based on my original art. So it does work well with the stamps because a lot of my stamps that I design with companies are in the fabric because I use my own stamps in my art. What I will say, it's not really a scoop because I haven't kept it hidden, but I have my second collection with Free Spirit is about to be shared.
And so,
Like,
so will there be like another 4 month wait before you can actually get your hands on it? But they get to,
no, it'll be the same 8 month wait.
oh, 8 month. Okay, sorry, 8 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but that's okay because they get to see what they're, I mean, and then just be anticipating it, right?
Yeah,
It's different with
anticipation is
fabric.
good, but I don't know about 8 months.
Well, it's okay. They have other things to play with in between.
There you go.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about these and I'll show, show them a little one at a time. Now, I wanted to just say that I put these, it's crazy how they all fit. This is a 16 by 20 acrylic frame. Okay. So it's basically like a clear acrylic tray. And it's wild how these all actually, every single one of your images fit in here. Okay. And I love doing this because you can, not only can you see them all at once and see the whole collection, but you can actually ink or paint or mark these up, and then you can press this all at once if you want to. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but I am going to pull them out one at a time and just give you all the names. And I do have to ask you, Seth, have you played with them at all? Do you have any fun
I
stuff?
do. I can I guess I can flip my camera and show you some stuff that I
Oh,
made.
good. Yes. And actually, if you want, you can show, and then I'll show the stamps along with them if you want.
Sure. Let's see. So those of you who know me know that when I create, my whole goal is to work in layers and to make sure that everything kind of gets blended and mixed so that when I create my way, I would use all these stamps, but you would probably not be able to identify a single one of them. So rather than do that, basically, as you'll see, I use some different products to just show you what they look like when you stamp with them.
Nice.
So this is kind of simple stuff, but when you show whatever you show, I'll show what I made.
Okay. So, well, I'm just going to start no particular order right now, but I do love these. And I want you all to know too, Seth was very, um, I- so I can't think of the word, but just so wonderful to work with, so agreeable, and really was kind of like, I want you to decide on sizes. I mean, one of the things that we really wanted to make sure was that there were some larger sizes and some things that did not in any way sort of repeat or compete with his paper artsy or, in his rubber stamp collections. So we wanted to make sure that even though the imagery would sometimes sort of cross over or be, complementary, that it would not be the same. Okay. So, and I don't remember why I just brought that up. But anyway, so
Because
nice
it's
little fact.
true.
Yeah. So this is one of my very favorite. I mean, I have a lot of favorites, so you'll probably hear me say that a lot, but I do love this. And this is called Batik Duo. And so we did do a couple few positive negatives. And I absolutely love just the imagery on this and just the way that you'll be able to use it. I will say amazing backgrounds. And Seth named all these too. So Batik background or Batik Duo is the first one, and both of them are around 4x5, I believe. So is that white on black, and is it embossed or?
So this is just using acrylic paint. It's white on black. And this is the stamp. So again, in order to get the positive and negative, this acts as a stamp where the elements are raised. And then this acts as the imprint where the elements are dug in.
Carved
So
away?
you get the opposite, which I just think is a real cool process to get both. and to be able to use both. Look at that. Okay, so don't look at my side, look at her side.
No, no, but look, one of the things that is so fun about this too, I'll do it really quickly while I have this out, is that if you stamp your carved away one, especially, well, in this case, I stamped it in a dark color, so like in a graphite, and then you can take your positive one, which is the raised up, and you can sort, it's not going to match up perfectly, I won't lie, but it will match up enough to where you can get a little color in there, which is one of the reasons I do also, I mean, obviously you can use the positive negatives, separately, but I do really like using them together so you can sort of fill in and again, sort of get, I don't know, it makes it a little more batiky. Now might get a little muddy because I didn't clean it, but you'll get the idea.
Oh, I like that better usually.
Yeah. Better to have a little grungy, right?
A lot of grungy. Ooh,
So you're kind of stamping the color in the negative space, right? So that's kind of
yeah,
fun.
that's
And
great.
this isn't as much as like with the polka dot, or I know it's not called polka dots, but the
Lots of
dots.
dots.
So again, batik, you get 2 pieces, and I said 4x5, but I was wrong, about 3.5x5. Okay. Same goes for the and what did we call these?
There's lots of dots.
Lots of dots, yeah. So again, with the positive and negative, and I have to say, I know this is crazy, but I love, love, love these. I mean, they're just sometimes some of the most simple ones are the ones I really love using a
I
lot.
agree with you. And of course, I love circles. I love things that are a little off. I love linear and grid-like things. And in my case, I stamp these as is, but generally I love just to use bits and pieces of each. And I see how, yeah, you did some great things there.
I have one in here somewhere, but oh, there he is. Okay, so I did. So this is kind of a fun thing, and I will show you that kind of quickly. I'm sure I just have this figures. We have some solid figure stamps. And so you can really just, I'm sure everybody's seen this before. It's not rocket science, but go ahead and load that up with a little water. I'm going to just take a watercolor stick and wet it just a little with the spray bottle. And then you can take, and obviously this is great because you can do it left or right facing.
It's like mad scientist stuff here. I love it.
Right. Oops, I'm going to spritz it again. And of course it helps to, you can take a little, watercolor stick or graphite and just line that edge a little. It was a little crusty, so I didn't get the best impression, but you get the idea.
Yeah,
You
love
can,
that idea.
if it's a little smush,
Always like a little smush.
yeah, smushy is good.
Technical term.
All right, so that is your lots of dots. And again, with the 2 pieces, and let's do a third one. We have a third 2-piece set, and I love these, love, love. And this is called symbol stretch. Again, with the positive and negative.
I love your idea though of stamping the negative and then stamping the positive as well.
Yeah, let's try it with
For
this
the
one just
negative.
really quick. We'll do it right here. And we'll again and make now I think most people here know I love bright rainbow colors, and I'm a bright, vivid rainbow person. Well, well, in my colors anyway, maybe not my personality, but I have been trying to grunge it up a little bit in your honor.
Thank you. I see that you are doing that successfully.
So let's go ahead and I like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, let's
Yeah,
try it.
Loey just had like an epiphany, and I did too. That is the grungiest rainbow I ever saw, and I love it.
I'm gonna try. Well, let's see. I don't know what color.
Doesn't matter. Do it, do it, do it.
I'm gonna do graphite just for fun.
It's always so inspiring to see how people create because you may think, oh, everybody does this. I guarantee you that not everybody does it this way. So I think people are also just learning some techniques.
Oh,
And
fun.
anytime I can use something other than paint, because paint requires cleanup,
Yeah, so
I'm
that's this.
absolutely thrilled.
So I'm a little off. I don't think I stamped
Yeah,
it the wrong way, but it's okay. It's kind of cool. I same reason, Seth, that I like to use the water soluble sticks or
yeah,
watercolor crayons. I will say the crayons, watercolor like Neocolors or Lyra, the waxy ones don't give as nice of coverage that because they are a little more waxy.
right.
However, so like your Derwent Inktense sticks
Mm,
uh, are great, and I like them too because they're flat on the side. Now that being said, they can get a little, soft from the water, so you have to sort of be aware of that. But I also like my watercolor. Now these are fine art watercolors. They're the Daniel Smith stick,
right,
and those are great. And then the Lyra graphite, water soluble graphite. So the reason I like all this stuff is because I can do it and it doesn't crust, it won't dry crusty. So even though I will have to wash it or clean it if I don't want, like, so I just use graphite right now. Say if I want to use like light blue or like a light color, if I don't clean it, it will get kind of muddy and grungy, which obviously can be great for some people. But if you want like a bright color, then you
yeah,
want to still clean it, but it's not gonna get crusty and dry the same way, and it will still
right.
sit, your foam will still stay supple and whatever. And you can also spritz it with water and still get, quite a few
Yeah,
things
reactivate
out
it,
of it. Mm-hmm.
which is great. One of the things that I love to use with foamies is and again maybe people already do, but sometimes people forget you can use the dye sprays for just about anything. So these two things are done with the dyeing sprays, which is
Oh,
just a real
yes.
easy spritz, and then inking, and then these were done with paint, acrylic paint.
So yes, that's one. And so the same that you were saying to me, like, oh, well, people don't know that. I always forget, or not always, but often forget to use my sprays and stuff too.
We'll break them out, but look at that page, everybody. Look at that page on the left. That's like masterpiece. Seriously. You were like when you did the um one stamp on top of the other and you were saying it's kind of a little off and I'm like, yeah, it's a little off. You were like, it's a little off. And I'm like, yeah, it's a little off. Like it's just so good.
Yeah, we like it a little off. We don't want anything too perfect, right? Because we don't want,
Never.
it to be too perfect.
No.
Anyway, all right. So that is symbol stretch. Next, what do we have next up? All right.
What do we
Love
got? What do we got?
this one is called screen, which is
Screen. Before you go on, what was the with the brights that you used on Symbol Stretch? What brand of crayon was that?
oh, so this was Daniel Smith watercolor stick. Here, I took off all the wrappers, but this is what it looks like with the wrapper on.
Okay.
Daniel Smith watercolor, fine watercolor stick. And then also Derwent Inktense sticks.
Okay.
So this one's called
Thank
Screen.
you.
And I think, let's see. I have some blank paper here. I'll just stamp it on there. So I do, as you can see, it's a little bit, has some different colors on there too. Now I do want to talk a little bit about these few because there's a few images that are similar in the way that they're designed. Okay. And so let me go ahead and I'm going to stamp this one first. Again, this is called Screen. Okay. And you see how it is like missing pieces, like missing areas, and it's imperfect. It has sort of little bald spots. There's a few
Bald spots like me. I love it.
um where I'm trying to, okay, so I'm going to show you a couple others at the same time. This one is called Circuit Board. And I know it's kind, I'll stamp it so you can see it a little bit better, but Circuit Board, and then also Crisscross. All right. So all three of these, if you notice, have these little bald spots, have these little, patches, and they are very fine line foamies. Okay. We generally lots of times avoid small, skinny, fine lines. Okay. And and you'll notice in a lot of the art foamies that there is big, bold, lines or just pure solids, right? So we generally stay away from really fine lines like this. However, certain things do work and lend themselves to this. Okay. That being said, it is imperfect because the way the foam is, made and created. And when there's very fine lines, certain little spots might not hold up as well. That being said, these stamps are made to have that imperfection. Okay. So,
Yeah, so don't send them back thinking they're broken, right?
yeah, right. But
Yeah,
also if they, they might not always
they
stamp
break.
exactly the same. They're not. I have a few that I've designed that are the similar line quality. The one thing that you just want to remember though, okay, when you are using them is that you want to keep your media or your medium, whatever paint or ink or, whatever, sort of to just the top of the raised up area. You don't want to take whatever ink pad or paint or scrap buddy, stamp buddy, and like smush or, take your stamp and take it to the ink and really get it down in there, because then when you do make your impression, you're going to get a lot of that sort of shadow stamping in those bald spots, which you don't want. So the two recommendations I have, if you are drawn to these stamps, is that when you ink or put your, paint on them, that you do it very, gently, but you still get good coverage, but you just don't mash or smush. And that when you go to stamp it, you give firm, even pressure, but again, do not mash or smash, and give your full weight. Okay. You're just going to want to kiss it to the paper, give a firm, nice pressure, and that will give you the best impression. Otherwise, you're going to say it's going to be user error, and you're going to be saying like it's making a mess and getting big smushes of, color where I don't want it. So just letting you know that on these three stamps specifically. Okay. Little art foamy, art foamy lesson. So
That's really helpful. No, that's really helpful because, you don't know unless you know. And if you haven't, especially if you don't have experience with these, using the foam stamps, it is a different experience than using rubber stamps. And
yeah,
it takes a little bit to get the hang of it.
I think so too, because with rubber stamps, generally you do want to give like more, I don't know. I feel like you need to, well, two things about rubber stamps to me, a lot of times with rubber stamps, it seems generally, not always, of course, there's always exceptions, but that you're going to want like a more uh, pristine impression. With our foamies, I find that that's not really always the case, uh, but I don't know. I think sometimes you have to be a little more manhandly with rubber. I don't know.
All
Maybe.
right, so just kiss the surface. It's a good way to say it.
So that one is circuit board, and this one is crisscross.
This is circuit board. And crisscross, for some reason, I can't find my impression. So I'm not going to be able to show
I
a
didn't get
sample.
on that one, but again, I'm not trying to get super pristine images with this by any means. This is love. And that's why I love it. Ooh, so much delicious texture. Okay. So
Can you
that,
lift that? Can you lift that up closer to the yeah, so people can sort of see the differences. That's screen.
Yeah, screen. That's circuit board with
Yeah,
a little bit of crisscross over the top.
and that's
I love
crystal.
this. This reminds me kind of like, I don't know, like a grid paper.
Yeah, it's kind of like a degraded grid paper.
Yeah, I love it.
You
So,
know, there's breaks and sometimes the lines are a little thicker than others. So
yeah.
it's regular grid paper. That's a better view.
So, a few more here. We still are not done, about halfway. We have this. I love this was so fun because Seth, I can't remember exactly how this came about, but Seth, I think you wanted to replace something, and I was like, oh, do we have to? Can't we just make that other one work and then add these two? And then you were like, okay, so we did. And these are called spinners. At first I didn't know what to call them, and then I called them churros. I don't know why. And then Maxie was like, "Which ones are these? What?" And I go, "Oh, I think Seth called them spinners. I don't know why I called them churros, but anyway, spinning churros."
Spinning churros, I like that. We can change the name.
And of course, 3 sizes, which is nice. We have sort of Seth's iconic words here, and this is called Word Up. Set of 3, and you get your create, inspire, and story. I'm pretty sure when I gave a few sneak peeks, people were like, oh, that looks, I recognize Seth.
Yeah, it was really cool when you said somebody's coming. I don't know if everybody already knew, but um, it is, I think all of us, we're all creatives here, and it's always exciting when you feel like you've tapped into your voice enough that people actually recognize it.
Yeah,
That is
really
just,
nice.
just really a nice, I take that as a huge compliment.
Yeah,
So
for
so
sure.
appreciative that some people seem to immediately know it was me.
Yeah, I thought that was great too. So Heather says,
Or either that or I'm just doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over again.
no,
Maybe that's the issue.
I don't think so. All right. What else do we got? We have this. And again, I did really try. If you'll notice from the collection that we don't have just a lot of squares. We have stuff that's like a little misshapen. Some things are a little more uniform. And I wanted that because I feel like when I look at Seth's stuff, like he is, sorry,
I'm
Seth,
misshapen.
regular. I mean,
Yeah.
everything is not predictable, and I love that. And that's what I try to really reflect that in this collection too. So this is which one is this one again? Did I already say the name, or I was just no,
One's called Craters.
Craters, yes. And I love anything that reminds me of moon stuff, me and the moon. So this definitely has that vibe. Love it. Let's see one here. Oh yeah, here it is too. A little bit back here behind him. And again, this one, I haven't been calling out I think all of the sizes are listed on the website, but I usually try to tell you, but this one is about 4 by almost 6, 4 by 5.5-ish. So that's a nice size. We have, this one is called Phillips and Flats. I like this one too a lot. I feel like this is really just says Seth all over it.
It's screwed. It's also screwed up.
So screwy.
So far, KP's called me irregular, screwed up.
Bald.
She,
No, I'm
she
kidding.
gets me. She really gets me.
Oh, you're so funny. Anyway, I love it. And this one's just about 4 by 4, I think. And then I think this was a fun name though. And I really didn't mean to call you Screwy, but we came up with this name because I think one was going to be lots of dots and then one was going to be slot dots. And I said, those are too close. It's too confusing. Let's just call this one Phillips and Flats, which I think is perfect, right?
Yeah, I do too. Yeah, because they are, I mean, they were meant to be screwheads.
Yeah,
So
love it.
that's just perfect.
So that, and then we do have, this one is called Broken Chain, and it is, I think 4 by 4. Yeah, 4x4. And the fun thing about this one, again, this is the carved out, so it's more of like a negative, it has the negative space. If you order $50 worth of Seth's collection over this weekend, okay, before Sunday at midnight Central, you will get this freebie, which is a chunk right out of it. So it will sort of not, it's not.
And that's the positive. That's the
Yes.
stamp rather than the imprint. Yeah.
Yeah. So and this one is just a little strip of it, and it's about 1.5x4. Okay. So again, this is just the freebie. It is not for sale. Okay. And then this one again is called Broken Chain. And
Thank you, by the way, Patty, and appreciate that, and everybody else as well. Brianna, thank you. You guys are really nice in the chat. I appreciate it. And Wendy, thanks for sharing about the group.
yes, and Wendy made some amazing samples too. She'll be sharing throughout the week. Let's see. Brianna says that's my favorite, the screw head one. Yes. I feel like I just had a question and now it went right out of my brain, but it's okay. It'll come back hopefully. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And my last but not least is because I had to do an imprint pad with sets. I mean, I really could have done so many more. So hopefully this won't be the last time in the world that Seth designed some ArtFoamies, but because I will tell you, back whenever I designed my very first few imprint pads. I designed one called, oh, what is it called? I can't even think of it now. It's a really cute name. It has like I don't know, for some reason it kind of reminded me of Seth. And so I did send him one and I was like, please try this because I really want you to design some ArtFoamies. And I don't know. I'm not really sure what finally got Seth to come to the dark side over here, but I had to ask him a lot of times, and which is okay. It was worth the wait. But I don't, because Robin, I know that you were so kind in sharing Keisha's collection and Robin's collection, some of your friends. And then I did send him an imprint pad and he did like it. So I said, we have to at least do one imprint pad because I do feel like so many of your image, your images would just be amazing because any of these would have worked, or you could even mix and match. But I love the boldness, the size, just everything about this. And I hope you all know how imprint pad works. This is called Cairns imprint pad. And so really, if you all are familiar with imprint pads, then you're going to love this one.
I'm sure not everybody is.
But
I know
yes.
peeps from my side.
So we're going to do this. Again, it has a little bit of watercolor already on there. I'm going to go ahead and just smush some more color on here. Let's see. Might be kind of a weird color combination, but that's okay. I just want to get it to where you can see it pretty well. Right now I'm just, well, for now, I'm just going to, I guess I'll just use this. This is just a 90-pound watercolor paper. And you know what? I'm so sorry. I need to fix my lights really quick. I did not realize that it was doing that weird lines on the screen all this time. I hope it hasn't been driving you too crazy.
I don't see weird lines.
Oh, you don't? Okay, good. Well,
No.
sometimes I get these really weird shadow lines with my overhead lights. So hold on.
I don't, yeah, Brianna doesn't see it either. Imprint pad versus foamy, I mean, KP knows a lot more than I do, but with the imprint pad, it is a negative.
I'm
It's
sorry.
also,
I'm so sorry. Were you asking me or?
somebody asked, like, what's the difference between, like, you're labeling some imprint pads and not others. What is your...
I'm so sorry. Okay, so imprint pads, the only reason that I really call them this, there's lots of ArtFoamies that are going to obviously work in a similar way. I mean, even for example, like this, right? The reason I call them imprint pads mainly is the size, because it's like, 6x8. So it's large enough to be sort of like a, gel plate size, whatever. But because of the way they are carved away, it's mostly like all the negative space, you can just use them in such a fun way. And I'm just going to use the back of this paper. I'll do one solid first so you can see it in its entirety. Okay, so like that, and I didn't really get the edges very well, but that's okay. So I also love doing it in this way. Where you're just taking, okay, and you're just moving it around on itself.
Yeah.
You can come back and look at it, and then you can be like, oh, I still want more color or here. So you just, you can even smush up some more color and then just find where you want to press it and just keep doing that all over till you have your full whatever area that you want inked up. And it does, it really just makes a beautiful grungy, well, and depending, of course, what colors that you use, and different imprint pads. I have some that are more this kind of mark making, or some that are more whimsical, and but
It doesn't have to be grungy. I mean,
no.
it should be, but it doesn't have to be.
Huh. So,
Um,
in the
yeah,
dep-
I love that you are able to. I mean, this is true with the stamp as well, but really the foamies or the rubber stamp, but the foamies lend themselves to either using as a stamp or to pull a print off of. And I find myself when I use them, I do both. Whereas with rubber stamps, most of the time I stamp it.
yes.
With these foamies, I do both of these techniques, and you get a whole different feel when you do them the other way.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And it makes it, um, I don't know, kind of a little faster too, less fussy.
Yeah, we don't like fussy. And Linda, to answer, Linda had a question prior. I think she wanted to see a print of this particular stamp, the one that's like freebie. So I'm just going
Oh,
to do it
yes.
quickly. I'm just
Yes,
going to get some
please.
dye spray. I'm going to, I'm just going to make a mess of it. I'm just going to spray the dye. When you do it like that, you end up with a little bit of a frame. So it's
Love it.
kind of neat if you do that on your paper, because then if you just stamp it, it's not going to be perfect. You get the stamp, but
Ooh,
you also sort of get the flow of the frame. But
yeah.
that's what that looks like.
Oh, I love that.
And with the dye spray again, you can let me get some paper. You're still gonna have some on here. So if I want to just add a little bit. Okay, very little there, you can see a little bit right there, but very little. So I'm just gonna spritz it with some water and reactivate it because it's definitely still here. And then you get just the faded lines, which I love as well. I mean, it almost looks like a different stamp.
Yes. And you can also do things like that, like purposefully. Well, a couple of
Yeah,
things I'll show you is you can, so even if you have a stamp that's larger, say, and you only want portions of it, don't ink or don't color it or ink it all the way to the edge. You can actually just, color in a small portion of it, and get it like that. Does that make sense? Like, even if I want, or you could even make a different
absolutely.
shape inside of it. Does that make sense? Like I could make a circle or I could make a cross.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. I'm using an indigo stick here. I'm not sure if this is going to, yeah, I didn't think it was going to take. It's a little too waxy, but I still have all that beauty.
Yes, and then take that positive one and just do a few,
Yeah.
like, oh, let's try it right here. Like so. Oh, I love it. Oh, it's so fun. Well,
Yes.
word foamies are
It's
fun.
really fun.
So I have to show you this. also, because this is really something I think that you would enjoy. And something I have a lot of fun playing with. So I told you about that tray. If you take any, and maybe you want to do a little smaller. This is a 16 by 20. I did get all of Seth's images to fit in here. I don't know if we'll be able to do it again. I mean, I will tell you, when I got them all in here, I did snap a picture on my phone so that if I took it all apart, I'll be able to put it all back together.
It's one big puzzle.
Yeah, I'm not going to really try to do that right this second. I'll just get as many in as I can.
And Heather, to answer your question while the puzzle is being filled, yes, you can take the dye sprays, really any sprays, and just spray directly right on them. The thicker you spray, I mean, it does get absorbed a little bit, but the more you spray, the more floody the final image is.
Mhm.
So, you can go a little more grungy where you'll almost have drips versus a little bit more pristine if you go light. And one of the things I love about the foamies, which is why what KP is doing works, is that they're all the same thickness. So even if, you don't have a tray, you can literally just
Lay them out. Yes.
lay them out like that, and then pull the print like that for the print. So it's great. And also don't forget, because who doesn't want to use everything? I mean, you can ink that. You can ink the sides of these
Yes.
and
Yes.
stamp like that, which is great. And even,
And the
things like
backs.
that, where you
Mhm.
have a little bit of areas that are not smooth sticking out like that, to ink those, and just to be able to make your own impressions. For me, it's always worth it to get your money's worth out of anything you spend your money on. So if you can do 16 things with one thing, you should do it.
Yes. Yes, you should. So here I have them all laid out again, and I think I'm missing one now, but it's okay. I'm gonna spritz it with water. And I will tell you, like, if I'm here by myself, not doing a demo, I could take a little more time. I could take like my scrap buddy or my stamp buddies and actually put a little watercolor directly on here. Um, use a little indigo. So you could take some actual watercolor. This is tube watercolor, and you can get a little on your scrap or stamp buddy. You can use your inks on here too, and just, I'm gonna go ahead and spritz it just a little bit with some water also. Put that through, and then, you can load them up. I mean, you could do it one at a time. Most of these already obviously have stuff on them from me doing this already, but whatever. I'm just trying to be kind of quick and get some more color on there. And that probably will get really grungy now because it's going to start getting muddy, but that's okay.
Then I'll like it better.
Well, I like it pretty good too, except for I don't want it to get all like one brown color, like nicer if it gets the grungy
Two brown colors.
right? You're so funny. All right, well, we'll just see. We'll go with this. All right.
I think what you're doing is phenomenal. It's gonna be gorgeous no matter.
It'd be fantastic. All right, so like this, I did have a large piece of, I think it was 22 by 30, some, I don't know. It was a big piece, and I cut it, I folded it in half and then cut it in quarters. So I do have one other larger piece, but now of course I don't know what happened to it, so that's okay. We'll just do it this way.
It's always so much fun to do what you're doing, and I'm kind of doing the same thing, because every time you pull, it's like a little reveal. You just never know quite what you're gonna get.
Oh, I love, and
Yeah, look at
but this is
that.
separate, but of course, you can just keep going over. Yeah, I could also pull a stamp from here and just start over stamping it, whatever. The nice thing is if you're wanting to do a large, format painting or large journal page, you could do it this way. You can also pull these and then of course just cut these up into small pieces. I think it's also really fun to just do it on your journal. This is how I did these 2 journal pages.
Right.
I
Yeah,
just
they look amazing. It's all about the layering there.
like
And
that, make quick work of it.
it really lends, these kinds of stamps lend themselves to layering.
And you can see the colors starting to fade away, but that's okay. I can just reload them and keep doing this. Oh, I like that piece, Seth. Was that with sprays?
Yeah, this is all with sprays.
Shut up.
So a lot of times what I like to do is I mean, no one's gonna think this is big, but again, those of you who know me, for me, this is big. So what I often like to do is kind of create this way. And then I'll just get a ruler or something that I can use. And I will sort of find the element or the element that I really like so that, you know, I'm working quote unquote large, and then I'm tearing out the piece that speaks to me. And you have to be really careful when you do it wet, but one of the nice things about when it's really wet, I don't know if you can see this, but it actually tears around
Oh, yes.
damp. It's like you can also, some people know with watercolor paper, if you want to tear it, you can just take a very thin paintbrush, dip it in water and go across a straight line, and then you can tear it. So it works on the same idea when the sprays pour in. So you get an edge that's just really formed, which is kind of neat. And then this one as well that I was working on before. This one is just, to me, a great
I
start.
love that. Yes, that is a great layer.
For
Great.
those of you who like books or bookmaking, like also think about if you're going to do something like this. To me, I mean, the first thing I see, and I saw it with yours as well, to me, it sort of looks like a book page. So for example, let's just say I thought this was the best thing I've ever made, which I don't, but let's just say I did. Or even if it's not, even if it's the worst thing I ever made, I could turn it into the best thing. What I'm thinking is you can see the line, the differentiation, like it might be really interesting to just cut it up like that. And now I have, you know, a potential cover to a book,
Mm-hmm.
which I love, because then what I would do is I would continue working using the stamps. Now, I don't know if everybody here knows about the incredible ink pads
Oh,
that
moonlight
are,
Stones, yes.
these have seriously become my favorite and go-to ink pads. They're I mean, I know KP knows more about them, but they're basically a blend of dye ink and pigment ink, and they dry permanently. But they're so good to use. And one day I'm going to invite KP to my place so she can explain to me and all the other people out there like why she split it between white and I know there's all the blending thing. I have no clue how to do it. So she's going to come and teach. So I'm just going to do that. So this is where I can begin to kind of fill in a little bit, you know, as I'm making my book cover. And I can just begin to layer up using the different segments here. Let me continue to use a little bit of this. And with the wonky edge, I love that because I can go in like this and I don't just have a straight line. I have a much more natural
Yes, I love that.
way of showing. And I mean, I hope you can see just how vivid these ink pads are. They're just phenomenal. I am
Yeah.
technically a person who loves the black ink pad the most, but there are so many colors. And I have to say what is genius is the blue black. I love the blue black because it's dark, but it has a little bit of sort of a blue tone to it. Let's see what I can use. Let's use some of the Phillips and flats here.
So Wendy says, please, would you use a heat gun to dry your creations? So I generally try not to. I mean, I will if I need to for demonstration purposes, but I try to always let my watercolors dry organically because it doesn't like wash them out. Now for this, it won't matter much. And I wouldn't probably use a heat gun. If I just want to dry things, I would use a blow dryer.
Look at that blow dryer.
This
I
is,
mean, talk about blinged out and bejeweled.
this is, I think, actually, so one of my customers that watches my lives a lot sent it to me as a gift. I think she got tired of my old, my thrift shop blow dryer that made like the most horrible sound. But I love this. It is so good.
You should be making and selling those. I mean, in your spare time.
What blow dryers?
Well, one that looks like that.
Oh, yeah, we'll art foamy it. So, oh my gosh, look how I'm just so enthralled with this right now. Even just looking at your screen and my screen, at how like almost no matter what you do, you're still just coming out with something cool. It's amazing.
Well, again, the foamies are the key, and all my designs are meant to sort of be interchanged, mix and match. And you and I are just doing, like, I've practically forgotten you're all watching here. I'm just now I've lost myself, which happens all the time. But the whole notion that, you can take these are just 5 or 6 different stamps, and this isn't perfect. It's just, and it's a lot. I'm a maximalist. More is more in my book. There's a lot here, but one of the things that I also love to do at some point. So for example, if I lay that out, let's just get, I don't know, because we can get anything. We'll get some Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. Like now what I would love to go in and I'm gonna fill in a little bit. All that white space. If I work on white, I tend not to leave the white because I like the I don't know if you guys, I'm gonna do a few and then show you. I like the colors coming through. And so with these negative stamps in particular, you can really, let's do just a couple more. You can really fill in the colorations. So you can kind of see, you see
Wow.
that?
Yeah, and was that are those will you hold those crayons up again so I can?
Yeah, they're distressed watercolor pencils.
Oh, I gotta try those. I haven't tried those at all.
But you can see how beautiful it's getting those brights in compared to I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but that just, to me, elevates it. And then a lot of times when I create my stamps, I'm all about the gaps because I want to be able to then, these are watercolor pencils, so they're somewhat translucent. But I can go in here and I can begin to just fill in the gaps of that circular stamp with these watercolors so that all the elements that are underneath, and I'll show this up close in a moment, will still shine through. And you just begin to layer and layer and, I mean, for some people, this is too much. I get that. I really do. I know you wouldn't think I do, but I really do. But, for me, this is kind of the way I like to create.
It's so relaxing too. And I do think a lot of people just enjoy the whole process of layering and coloring and sort of meditative, don't you think?
100%. I mean, I could, see that. I mean, I'm not kidding when I could start by doing this. Let's just take a bunch of these and I'm filling in. I'm only going to do a few because, as much as I like to stay here, Christmas is going to come around soon.
Yeah.
We're going to have to stop at some point. But like I could go ahead and do that. which to me just is beautiful, you know, the
Mhm.
colors. But then I could go in and I could take, um, let's go in with some brown, a brown pencil. And then I could go ahead and I could put a little bit of a circle around it. I mean, this is what I do in my journals. It's just can take me hours. And let me tell you, when you are needing an escape, a mental escape, and you start with just that one foamy, and then you fill it in, and then you go around, and then of course, then I'm gonna maybe put a little bit of an X over and add the X. But of course, I'm doing it on the entire page, so I'm not going to be done in a moment. And then let's get some of this red, and I'm going to put a little dot right in the center. So for me, again, when I say more is more, it's an endless thing. But the beauty of the stamp, these stamps with the gaps in it, is that it allows you to build. You know, and I see these, and these are just absolutely calling for me to fill in. And for
Mhm.
me, creating without thinking like this is just the best way to create. You know, when you just lose yourself and you don't even think twice, that's when you're going to start making something really magical. And what you're doing is incredible. I mean, you've taken all those stamps that were not necessarily designed exactly to go together, and you're just working over them and blending them and making it completely cohesive.
Well,
It's
I'm just trying to, yeah, I want
delicious.
this all filled in. And then I think for this one, I'm just gonna have a little fun tearing it up, to be honest.
Well, I really, KP, what color are you using?
This
Oh,
is
there's a question.
green gold.
Ooh. What I really want you to notice is that if you were just tuning in and didn't see our hands, everybody would absolutely think the piece you're working on, KP, is mine. And for those of you who know me, you know, these are a little bright for me. This, you know, almost looks more, a little bit more like your colors. So
Yes.
I absolutely love that we have kind of morphed into each other.
Yeah.
Actually, what sort of
I know
happened.
it is. It's kind of because normally I would go for like my neon pink or my opera, but
And you are like doing, I think you need to reevaluate your artist voice because you are doing grunge in a really bad way, in the best way, and I mean that in the best way possible.
well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment from the grungy king himself. So fun to, again, just like what Seth was saying, lose yourself, you know, in this sort of process. And then you can even just tear them up. These will be great little journal spots. It'll be great for, oh my gosh, so many, you know, applications because you could use them just as backgrounds for cards. I mean, obviously, I wouldn't have to cut them in such small pieces. I could make envelopes. I mean, just the list is really, really endless.
You've just totally like KP is doing bad grunge with Seth Apter. I love it, Brianna said. So, you know, I tend not to be like, I don't know, I guess the word is fussy cutter. You know, because I just kind of call it cutting. But, you know, if you've done something like this and you're not happy with it, you can begin to just pull out these pieces that you've made and you can use them as elements. It's like I like to say, when you've made a background that doesn't look good, if you die cut from it, you're almost guaranteed to have really amazing pieces. Because you know, you're taking something that may not work as a cohesive whole, totally going to work when you are taking small elements of it because you haven't really tried. Now, am I going to be as like I don't know the right word that's not derogatory and I don't mean it that way. Am I gonna like now cut out these little tiny guys? Probably if I was just working on my own, this is not something I would do. But you know, hearing KP say, you know, cutting it and making it smaller, you know, there's just you can I mean you can it's endless,
That's it.
right? Like
Okay.
maybe I could even do this. And the other reason why I'm doing this is because you know, this piece that I'm making is just like every other piece that I make. I'm just building the layers. And for me, when I do mixed media work and layers, it's always important not to get attached. So, you know, I know sometimes it freaks people out, this idea that you've made something and now I'm cutting it. Like, not being attached to it just allows you to be so much more free with what you do.
Yes, I
So,
agree 100% for sure.
although now I'm really feeling like you and I are
We're simpatico.
we're simpatico, but we're like really going sort of bananas here. So let's just say I've done that. So now I'm going to cut this down. Let's just end up with something that's semi-finished. I don't know why I feel the need to do that. But so I'm going to cut that down, get out a glue stick, and
I think me too. I think I was actually going to end up kind of like tearing this bottom one away. But this is a little bit nicer watercolor paper on the bottom. And I ended up stamping my figures on there, which I like. And then I tore up the other piece and I thought it looked kind of cool, just collaged right on there.
I agree. I don't think you need to like do much tearing at all. I don't know if this is um like mesmerizing to people or horrible to people, or let's see.
I don't
Hmm,
think it's horrible, Seth. I
okay.
don't think you're torturing them.
All right, we hope not.
Pull this tray back out here. I like your colors so much. I do think you're channeling KP over there with all your
I
bright colors and your fussy cutting.
I truly am. I think somehow Zoom has morphed us into one.
So I'm going to take this something really easy. I just had these these were the scraps I had already folded into sort of an accordion, and this is how I started this little accordion book, and I'm going to keep working on it. I do want everyone to know that we did start this pop-up a little bit early. We decided to go from now through the end of December, of course, and then all the way through January. The reason that we did that was because we knew it was a pretty large collection and we definitely wanted to give everybody, I know it's the holidays, a lot of people aren't necessarily buying for themselves right now. So that way you didn't have to feel rushed. You could, you know, get a little bit or come back late, you know, you have plenty of time. I just wanted to mention that because I know a lot of the pop-ups in the past have only been like a week or two. We had people that did not like that said that was not enough time. So we definitely wanted to make sure that you had plenty of time. And that being said, Seth and I both are going, and Seth, I'll let you speak to this a little bit, if you would, but I know that we're both taking a little bit of time away from being online, a little bit of time away from social media over the holidays. So even though it might seem quiet or whatever, we still will be sharing more samples, more ideas. Sometime in January, we hope to get back together and maybe do another little fun foamy session. I don't know. So
For
please,
sure, for sure.
yeah, keep following along and watching, you know, our spaces for various whatever samples and what, you know, and whatnots.
And whatnot. So yeah, just so for those of you who may be coming from my side and maybe a little less familiar, it's a pop-up. And once the pop-up runs its course, these are no longer produced. So these stamps will be available to purchase through January 16th, and then they go into stamp heaven.
Right.
I mean, they're kind of in stamp heaven already, but that other stamp heaven, you know, that we don't like to talk about.
There's
Uh,
the stamp abyss.
Stamp abyss, exactly. So, you know, in that sense, these are limited edition. They're not limited edition in the sense that if you wait to 3 days before, you can't get them. They will be produced.
Yes, and that also, thank you for saying that. That being said, I do want to let you all know, for those of you who don't know, you know, me or ArtFoamies very well, it is a family-owned business. It's just pretty much me and my husband full-time and my daughter part-time. And we make everything to order. So please be patient with us. We always say 7 to 10 business days before your order ships. Now, it's not always that long. Sometimes we literally will ship, within a day or two. However, we just say 7 to 10 business days to be sure that you're not, getting.
So you don't get mad.
Yes. And then during busy times and when Seth Apter is having a pop-up, probably will even take a little longer. So please we just ask that if you have questions, make sure you email us. We always are transparent. We're always, we give you tracking. We are working a lot to make
Very a lot.
yes, a lot. And we're not complaining, but just know that we are working on it. So that being said, I think it's fun if you just want to make yourself up a little accordion, do something like this. Obviously, you don't have to mix and match your images. You could do like one at a time. On this one, I did sort of try to do one image per page-ish. Got a little away from me, but it's just what I love about this is that it does really make super quick work of it. Like you can get your whole background,
Yeah, it's
accomplished
amazing.
really
Instantly.
quick work, so that's kind of cool.
Now, honestly, I don't know who's making stuff on my side here. Like, those of you who know me, has anyone seen me make something like this?
Ooh,
No, I mean, KP, I'm really like, I'm wondering if you put something in the stamps that you sent me.
yeah, how'd you know, Seth? I did. I put the KP charm.
Ah, that must be it. Yeah. By the by, everything I'm working on in this paper, like these elements will definitely get torn up. But yeah, I've made a book that I would never make, and you've made a book that I would absolutely make. It's just I'm like fascinated.
I'll send you mine if you send me yours.
Deal.
Okay. I mean,
Deal,
I'll
deal,
finish it,
deal.
but
But one of the things I do like is this notion that I always talk about whatever I make is meant to be collaborative in the sense that I design things very abstract so that you can make it your own. And every time you use a product, if you use it and create your own, I feel like it's an a collaboration with me.
yeah,
And so I really do think that somehow doing this with UKP is we've collaborated together, and I'm you and you're me now.
I love
I mean,
that.
I'm like fascinated by this process.
Well, I get to say I got Makey with Seth. So much. Thank you. I mean, I don't really know how to thank you, except for to say that it is such an honor and been an absolute pleasure, working with you. You're funny. You're just always, just so, I don't know, like, timely, funny, agreeable, and yet, but not, not agreeable to the point where you don't have your own, like, know what you want. And I love that. So, it has just been a great collaboration. And I thank you so much for saying yes.
Well, I
Finally.
appreciate you inviting me. I mean, the camera may go off, but I have a feeling I'm going to be just like making these cards that no one's going to recognize for the next few hours.
Well, that's okay.
Although you know what I'm going to do? Okay, I want everyone to take a look at this non-Seth-like thing. I mean, really, this is like a non-Seth-like thing. And I am going to turn this into a Seth-like thing. And then I'll post some pictures. It might be a
yes.
little while as I go into hibernation for the next week and a half or so, but I can imagine making this really, yeah.
Well, I'm ready. So yeah,
Well,
share progress pics and I will too. We have some friends too joining along, sharing some samples with things that they have created. So again, be watching for that. And let me just read.
Kathy, yes, if you haven't seen earlier, I do use these with my sprays, and I really do I love that. They're just so easy, but the great thing about these is they work with paints, they work with sprays. Clearly, they work with sort of watercolor crayons. It's just sort of phenomenal, the ease at which you can, I'm running out of room here, but that just makes it like every other day. You know, you can just use pretty much anything on these. For those of you who are less familiar with it, theoretically, I guess you kind of should be cleaning these.
Especially if you especially do use acrylic paint, you
Acrylic
really
paint,
need
yeah.
to, for sure.
All right, so yeah, let me see if I can make a sort of a quote unquote art piece here.
All right, I'm
With-
taking my spotlight completely off and just putting on you.
I know we're gonna wind down in a moment, but so let's get out, I don't know, let me find another color here. So I'm just spritzing with the spray. And then let's see if we can kind of pull this together. Yeah, you know, where you can use some of the words. Some of these are my favorite, some amongst my favorite words. Just because I think inspire, create, and the third word is story. Just kind of says it all. But yeah, this is again just all about the layering where you are. It's hard to see that. So if I were to do that and it's hard to see, you know, that's where the layering begins. So I'm layering some heavy pencil here on the left and the bottom edges of each of these letters so that it gets almost like a shadow and almost, hopefully if it works, I'm not looking to see that it almost becomes sort of 3D and will pop out of the surface.
And when you said pencil, is it a regular like graphite pencil?
I'm using a Stabilo All, which is my
Okay.
favorite pencil,
Yeah.
All because it works on all surfaces and
Love.
it's blendable because it's water soluble. But I don't know if that you can kind of see where with that the way I've outlined that, and it sort of pops out a little bit.
Mhm.
Yeah, not exactly. All right, and then I'm gonna put the last one. There's always three. It's always three in art. Let me see. Let me use a use some dark blue. That there. You know, and it's just yeah, all the collection is meant to work really well together. And this is looking, you know, disastrously layered. And that's me, even if, you know, this one, I think this is like really kind of crazy cool.
I love it. I mean, you know, I would though. I mean, I
Yeah, you know, I may just
color.
not do anything with this and make it into a little book and then send it to you, KP, as a thanks.
Okay, I'll make you something with one of these grungy, less rainbowy ones.
Okay, I like that.
That'll be fun.
All
Well,
right,
and then,
so I guess we should show our
yes, let's see. Does
again.
anybody have any questions at all? Any thoughts? Anything you'd like to ask or say before we say goodnight? Um, let's see. And then Seth, do you have any links or anything that you want to share? And then do you want to also just say how long you're going to be kind of off or if did I miss that? I'm not sure.
Oh, no, I didn't specify that. I mean, you can find everything of me and about me at sethapter.com as long as you remember my name, and those links can take you to Facebook and Instagram, et cetera, et cetera. So if you don't know me, you can explore. I am going to be working through tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm in New York City, so Eastern time for me. And then I will be hibernating till the 2nd of January, 9 a.m. Eastern.
Nice.
Now, no, for me, hibernation just means instead of working like 18 hours a day, I'll be working 13. So you'll probably see me pop up you know, on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff. And I will come back with a bang in January, because January 2nd, first day I'm back, I am teaching an online class that day on collage. And then the 3rd, there's going to be a big reveal of something. And later that month, I'm going to be revealing more new stuff. So yeah, I'm going to
So
be resting
January
up.
is a busy month. Yes, same
Yeah,
here.
it's going to
We
be
have,
busy. You too as well?
well, we'll have obviously the pop-up, Seth Apter pop-up through January, and then you know, we will be really, we have we're gonna only, I think, have 4 pop-ups next year, try to space them out a little bit.
Because you
And
had like 37 this year.
no,
Well, I
we had a
mean,
lot of new launches, but we only had, I think, 4 pop-ups this year too, but
okay.
so
Well, I appreciate being one of them.
me too. Thank you again. And of course, you can find all of Seth's art foamies through January at artfoamies.com. If
And
you
only at artfoamies.com,
have
nowhere else.
nowhere
And
else.
by the by, if you happen to see them somewhere else, please let us know,
Yeah,
because
thank
that's
you.
been happening lately, and we're not going to let that happen.
So,
So,
thank you. Yes, artfoamies.com. And they're not being sold at any other retailers. So that's it. Anyway, I thank you again.
thank you all.
We'll,
I'm so appreciative that you guys came and watched.
same
Again,
here.
live or on recording. I love seeing your beautiful faces here on Zoom. If you missed any of, oh, I'm seeing more people that I didn't know were here. Hey guys. And if you missed a lot of this, as KP said, it will go on a recording on their YouTube channel.
Yeah,
And
I don't know for 100% if it will be posted tonight. It might be in the morning. Can you, yeah, I'm giving you one back too. And oh, Judith says, where are the sprays available? Those are your sprays, right? Those
yeah,
sprays.
so I do have my own shop at sethapter.com.
Yeah, so
So you
that's where you
can
want to get the sprays and all the other,
find my other stuff there
yeah.
as well. But we're I'm hoping that while you're here, if you're new to KP's site, you explore some of the other designers, because there's some incredible, a lot of my friends and a lot of other designers who I don't know have designed some incredible stamps, as is KP. And I love, KP, your silhouettes,
Oh,
because you
thank you.
showed
Too. Go
really
really.
quickly how easy it is to use any of these other sort of background stamps within the silhouette, which is such a cool technique.
Yeah,
And Martine asked if you post internationally to KP, and I'm pretty sure she does. So I think I can answer that.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, we do. So,
And
all right.
happy holidays to you all. This is
Yeah.
like, honestly, I always say this at the end of my lives, like we are living through rough times in a rough world. And to be able to, you know, you can't pretend that doesn't exist, but to be able to escape into stuff like this is just so, it just keeps us going. So I appreciate if you've chosen to use some of my stuff, and now especially this short pop-up, because once the pop-up ends, the stamps end too. I appreciate that you've chosen to use some of my stuff to you know, bring some joy and creativity and beauty into your life and your world. So thank you.
Yeah, same here.
Thank you.
I
Thank
couldn't
you.
say it better myself. So thank you so much. And Seth, have a happy holiday, happy new
Thank you
year.
all.
Thank you so, so much. And let's get back together in the new year so we can show a few more fun things and play with your stamps some more if you get a chance. So I'll be
Oh, I
talking.
will for sure. That's the best thing about hibernation, is I can finally actually just play
Yeah. So
and
have
not
fun. Enjoy your
work.
visit with your brother too. And
Thank you.
thank you so much to everybody for
Bye,
joining.
everybody. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye, Seth. Thank you so much. Okay, again, this is
I can't
recorded.
stop waving.
Like
Chloe,
blowing kisses.
Wanda, thank you. See you guys. Wendy, Judith,
We will post this video on our YouTube,
Addie, Linda,
you know,
Ginger.
by tomorrow at the latest. Okay. Thank you
All right,
again.
thank you.
See y'all soon. Thanks for
Bye,
coming.
guys.
Have a great night. And I have to say it, stay
Wendy and
safe, stay
Duncan.
sane, stay makey.
All right, I'm going to stay makey. I think I am. All
Bye.
right, take care, guys.
You too,
Bye.
honey. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.